Morning guys, let's do a quick video just before the weekend, and main watch just for today and probably over the weekend are Bitcoin, Ethereum and ADA, possibly Tron as well. But we'll start off with Bitcoin. What I'm looking for here, we've had a retest of 9,400 again. Pretty important support level. It's our last hope before further downside. So I'm expecting a bit of a bounce here over the next 48 hours, possibly over the weekend. Volume may drop off over the weekend, so we could just stagger sideways a little bit before we either break up or break down. But really what I'm looking for is a nice clean pullback in between some nice fibs. High 9,000s, maybe a 10,000 retest before we head lower. And if we do get a nice clean pullback, I'll be looking to push through 9,400 this time and follow price to the downside. I'll just show you the 4 hour and why I'm looking to trade through 9,400. As you can see, there's a couple of bounces there, a rejection, a little tiny double bottom there, and now we're retesting again. So 2 to 3, maybe 4 touches is a strong support or resistance level, but the more times a level gets hit, the weaker it gets. So based on our lower highs, I expect this level to break at some point. Will it break right now? We don't know. I do hope for a pullback to get a nice entry point and then drive through there. So if we do get that, we can at least bulletproof and protect our trade from a loss before we hit 9,400 in case it does actually bounce again. But if it doesn't bounce and it does break through, we're in a perfect entry point and we can just trail our stop loss for as far as it goes, whether it's 8,400 or whether it drops all the way back down to 6,000. But this pattern now has broken. I do see further downside. 9,400 is our last hope. As far as I believe, the daily looks pretty ominous as well. As you can see, support and resistance, after so many hits it becomes weaker. Here you can see it's decelerated and rejected. That's a nice rejection candle. That's a nice rejection candle after a couple of dojis. So they have decelerated and reversed off these levels, and this time it's a little bit different. We've broken a pattern and now we're hitting this support level with momentum. So it's kind of like hitting a wall with a sledgehammer. You know, if you just tap it, it's probably going to hold up, but if you hit it with great force and momentum, you're going to do some damage. So that's what I expect here. Pretty important level. I keep mentioning it looks to be in a bit of trouble. So I'll just point out the weekly as well, why my bias is short. These wicks here, they're exhausted. They haven't been able to push higher. On 1, 2, 3, 4 occasions we've been capped by 11,500 on the weekly close. We've had 3 consecutive bearish weeks now, and this week currently still running is quite strong. A lot of momentum in it. We still have the 20 EMA, which has been very, very good dynamic support and resistance. As you can see, price has just run up, had a couple of crosses here with high volatility, and we've followed it all the way down again. So will we bounce here and continue higher off of low 9,000s, or are we going to break? If we do break, we could head all the way back down to where we came from. Too early to call that. Who knows where it's going to go, but very, very important point in Bitcoin's price action over the next couple of days or week or two. So that's the weekly. Let's have a look at Ethereum. Ethereum is much the same. So we're looking at a short on Ethereum as well. I'll just flick to the daily. That's a little bit easier to see. Right, so we've got this pretty clean trend line here, lots of touches, nice rejections of this level at 180. So you could say 180 was equivalent to maybe 10,000 Bitcoin. We've broken that with momentum. This daily closes in about 10 minutes. So that's a nice little wick there. So hopefully we'll get a pullback up to about 176, 178, maybe 180, and we can enter a short and trail this one. Same deal, 155, that might be the equivalent of 8,400 in Bitcoin. Price action is reasonably similar across the two. We've broken this daily trend line and also this falling wedge to the downside. So yeah, I do also expect further downside with Ethereum to go in line with Bitcoin. We will trade both, yes, but we will make sure that we can protect our trades early, because it's pretty much doubling the size of your trade, trading them both together, considering that price action is quite similar. So excited for the Ethereum trade. That's got much more risk reward than Bitcoin. We'll just see how that one pans out. How's the weekly looking? Weekly has already crossed the weekly 20 EMA. Strong momentum as well. Bitcoin's still being held by the 20 EMA. And these are our entries here on the 1 hour chart. So we had a nice wick on the daily close, which will close in a few minutes. So that's those candles there. So hopefully we'll pop up a little bit higher, get our entry. Nice break and retest off these fibs and 180. That'll be a perfect entry point. That's what we're waiting for. We've got our orders set. We'll leave them in for now. If we don't get it, we haven't made a bear flag or a bearish pennant. There's nothing to trade if we do fall lower here without getting an entry. So we've just got to be patient. Can't just jump on the bottom of a run, because this could reverse and pull higher once we enter a short if we don't think that it's going to pull up. So we've got to trade our patterns, trade our entries, stick to our trading plan rather than FOMO in. So just got to wait for this one. If we don't get an entry, we just have to let it go. What else can I show you on Ethereum? That's about it. I've pretty much covered that. Let's have a look at ADA. Looks like we're about to get triggered in this one. This one's not a huge trade. I just want to trade to the recent low here at about 400 sats. So we've just had a run up, and now we've broken and retesting some fibs, EMAs, and these trend lines here. So if we break this trend line, these EMAs and 0.618 fib, that's a lot of resistance to get through to get to our stops around this level here. So I do expect a lower high around this level. We've made a lower low here, now a lower high here. We've already made one lower high, second lower high here to continue our rundown. 4 hour, pretty much the same chart, but you can just see that it's been continually making sort of phase lines here. There's one here, one here. That's a little bit rough, that one. Probably there. There. And there. So they're just phase lines with continuation runs. So that's what I'm looking for here. This is really, really deep into a bearish run on a higher time frame. So that's why this level here, the previous low, is the first target. Can we go lower? I actually think we're going to go to about 280 sats, but I just want to be cautious around this level. We might close half the trade or bulletproof nice and low and give it a chance to run with a full position. But yeah, just care's needed on ADA. I'm pretty happy with price action on this trade, despite the fact that we're well into a daily run. Just rejecting that 50 EMA there right on the close of the hour. So hopefully we can just push up a few more sats. And the other one I'm watching for today is Tron, but we don't want to be too early on this. We've made a double, possibly triple bottom, quadruple bottom now. So this has made a nice floor, nice level. So really, if we break this level, it should slide quite rapidly. But we also have, as pointed out by one of our admins, Bully, we've also got a falling wedge as well. So if we break this top level here, it's definitely a valid long. So we just want to be careful. We're not going to short straight into support and a reversal pattern. But to me, I think if we can break 159 and 154 sats, we're heading downtown. That's all over. So I'm happy to try and get in an early position inside of this wedge, and just have a really tight stop loss. So maybe a 20% loss on this one, reasonably low leverage, and then we can scale in if we break these levels here. So this one's a little bit more of a high risk trade, but the rewards are well and truly high if it does play out for us, because I do see a lot of downside in Tron. I'll pull up the Binance chart. Just pull up the weekly. See, this bearish run has gone for a long time, so a reversal here back up to about 288 sats wouldn't surprise me, but we're literally in no man's land. There's no support, there's no structure, there's nothing holding, or no reason for Tron to reverse yet, so I can definitely see a move to the downside, and weekly support's at 34 sats. This is in big trouble if we can get more momentum to continue lower. What's the daily got? I don't hold high hopes for Tron at all. Yeah. So look all the way over here. Like there's nothing. I've just got a couple of doji candles, minor support at best really. It's needs to find support in the middle of nowhere to reverse from here, really, to be honest. So anyway, that's what I'm looking at, guys. Yeah, 4 possible setups. Hopefully we'll get a couple over the weekend. I don't usually like trading on weekends, just low volume. It tends to go sideways, and then we do get BARTs and pumps, low volume pumps or dumps and things like that. But there's potential setups there. I'm not going to let them slip. We'll try and get nice entries on all of them. So have a good weekend, guys. Hopefully we'll get some trades out. Off we go.